let's get to some reaction and talk about some of the players that we saw over the course of the last week in Indianapolis, because there's a lot of chatter about a lot of guys, really. And you can do the whole things like winners and losers and everything. And I'm not going to do that. But I do want to give my observations on the guys that generated the most buzz in Indianapolis. So I'm going to start with the guy that generated what I feel like was the most buzz, which is the Florida quarterback, Anthony Richardson. Now, last week I talked a lot about Anthony Richardson. And so just to review it, if you haven't listened to last week's, first of all, you should go back and listen to last week's episode of the Klatt Show. But if you didn't, I basically said, like, Anthony Richardson is the guy with the most top-end potential in the draft. He has the potential to be the best player on the field in a couple of years, regardless of who he's playing. So that's enticing, and we understand that. However, to get to that level, it's like unlocking a Rubik's Cube. So if you're looking at Anthony Richardson as a Rubik's Cube, then you have to think to yourself, how many turns away is he from being complete? Well, in my estimation, he's quite a few turns. Now, does that mean he can't get there? Absolutely not. I think he can. And by the way, when you look at the development of other quarterbacks around the league that were considered projects or considered rough around the edges, maybe the trend in modern day football, in particular in the NFL, is that these guys do work out and the game is trending towards them. So in that regard, will Anthony Richardson complete himself in this Rubik's Cube analogy? Well, if he does, he becomes the best player on the field. That's incredibly enticing for an NFL franchise. Now, not every franchise is going to have the tools to complete him. Not every franchise is going to have the patience to complete him. And so all of that has to be taken under consideration when you're looking at Anthony Richardson. Having said that, you look at what he was able to do. 4.43 in the 40. He set combine records for quarterbacks in broad jump and vert. He now has the second best odds to go number one in the draft, which you can't do that based on the combine. It just doesn't show you anything. Like, was it beautiful the way that he threw the football? Yeah, it was. It was impressive. There are not many guys on the planet that can throw the ball the way he does. But now all of a sudden he's got the second best odds to go number one. Bryce Young at what, minus 167. Anthony Richardson plus 350. CJ Stroud now falls below Richardson at plus 400. Traits-wise, that's fine. That's fine. And if the right organization gets him and can unlock him, he's got better upside than any of these players, even Bryce Young, who's up there in that lead category. But should he be getting that love based on his vert and broad jump? No. The next time that we see a quarterback have to, flat foot jump over the offensive line, then I'm like, hey, you know what? I got a guy that's perfect for that, and his name's Anthony Richardson. But we don't do that. The next time that he's got to go up for a 50-50 ball down the field and display his vertical jump, will be the first. So those things don't necessarily translate. What translates? The explosiveness that you already saw on the film. So what did we actually learn about Anthony Richardson? Nothing, because we weren't in the interviews. We weren't in and don't have access to the medical information. That's what was learned about Anthony Richardson. For those organizations vetting these quarterbacks, doing their due diligence on these quarterbacks, they will learn what is his acumen on the whiteboard. When he talks through football schematically, how does he operate? Take us through your offense. What were you in charge of? What were you not in charge of as far as protections and so on and so forth? That's what's learned. Did I learn anything watching him vertical jump? No, it just looked cool. It was entertaining. And so if that's what the combine is going to be, great. But the combine really is kind of a lot of, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It's just confirmation of what we already see on film. And for Richardson, I think that was the same thing. I'm interested to see and talk with some of the GMs and the scouts around the league, and I'll do that in subsequent weeks, about what it was like in the interview process and how did it go. Because this kid's physical traits are off the charts. And what they need to learn, What they need to do their due diligence on is, one, how many turns of the cube is he away from being complete? And can that organization complete those turns? Because if they can, like I said, Richardson could be the best player on the field regardless of who he's playing.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here. College football on Fox.